I've always travelled. As an army brat, we were always off on long, long journeys around the globe, following the regiment. Now I can choose the destinations, and the most thrilling places to me are off the beaten track.
Wow!
Wow! Grand hotels are wonderful, but I love living in huts and tents. It's lovely. However tough the terrain, and getting back in touch with nature. Yes, this is it. I come from a time where travelling wasn't about selfies and texting. I must be the only person in the world who still sends postcards. And now, I'm sending my favourite moments from my travels to you. No stamp required. When you think about the River Nile, you might think about camels and the pyramids and date palms and Egypt. But the Nile is far, far longer than that. In fact, there are two sources of the Nile. And the Nile, to make it clearer, is called the White Nile, the bit that flows through Egypt and so on. The Blue Nile rises in Ethiopia and pours out of Lake Tana and joins the White Nile in Khartoum. The waters don't even meet. You can see them flowing side by side until they become the mighty river itself. We wouldn't shortchange you. We're going to go to both sources. But first, I'm going to take you to Ethiopia. And so we started here in Lake Tana. This is one of Africa's largest canyons, a 250-mile-long gorge.
It's absolutely thrilling. We are now flying over the deep, deep gorges, and at the bottom of it, the Blue Nile. I've got to say, it doesn't look blue at all. It looks the kind of colour of vanilla fudge or something.
This gorge has been hewn by the colossal amount of water that thunders through here during the flood. Then the water turns a dark blue, giving the river its name, the Blue Nile. At the top of the gorge is Ethiopia's largest lake. 60 rivers pour down the mountainsides into Lake Tana. Nestled on the side of the lake is the town of Bahir Dar. The country is full of surprises. Its culture is one of Africa's oldest and most diverse, with influences from the ancient Egyptians and Arabia. It has its own alphabet and language called Amharic, spoken nowhere else. And it even has its own calendar, putting it 7 years behind the rest of the Western world. Their culinary treat is a sort of pancake. Known as injera, this is Ethiopia's national dish. The only thing about these injera pancakes is that they have a sort of look of tripe about them, which can put you off, particularly when they come rolled up like wet flannels, like something you'd sort of cleaned the floor with and hadn't wrung out. You don't eat them hot like we eat pancakes hot. You let them cool down. Again, something which to our palate might go, what a shame, I'd have loved it hot with maybe some thick cream and honey. But no. You can eat injera with pickles and spices, or in my case, I've gone for potato stew. Thank you. I must take another. Injera has a sour, nutty taste, but actually it melts in the mouth. It's actually delicious. Is it? Write journals if things are important. You think you're going to remember and you don't. It's only reading this that I realise how much I'd forgotten about this. There are more than 20 monasteries on islands in Lake Tana. Most were built in the Middle Ages, but remained hidden from the outside world until the 1930s. We attended an early morning service. We had to get up terribly early. I can't tell you how early we rise on some of these shoots. It's usually about 4 o'clock. It was cold. We wait until the 20-year-old deacon brings me into the church. Deacon Hanukulu.
Hello, Joanna.
Thank you very much for meeting me.
Welcome to here.
The monks do a shuffling hokey-cokey dance, each with a jingling handpiece, cha-ching, cha-ching. Drums play, and they shlink-shlunk, their little tambourines, shlink-shlunk. I buy one later for the maestro, who's my husband. Then they process around the building and return their treasures. Oh, they marched the treasures round. They were very, very old, extraordinary bits of armour and banners and chainmail. The holiest is in the centre, containing a copy of the tablets of stone bearing the 10 Commandments. The originals in the Ark of the Covenant are reputed to be in Axum, which is in Ethiopia, hidden. Utterly thrilling. What we learnt there too was that the patron saint of Ethiopia is St. George. Familiar? You bet. They were all celebrating, and it was terribly important. We'd been there, actually we'd been filmed for about 6 hours. It was still only just after breakfast. But I took this label off my beer bottle because we thought we will toast St. George in our own way. I'm quite good at drinking beer on boats. Go. The source of the Blue Nile in Ethiopia is a very, very holy place. Some people say that river is actually the river that flowed out of the Garden of Eden. I was so thrilled to be there. So sacred are the waters at the source that they're said to have healing properties. In the same way that pilgrims go to Lourdes, Ethiopians travel hundreds of miles to this spot. Welcome to Gish Abbey Church, the source of Blue Nile. So I've arrived here. They've drawn a mountain. We're not exactly on a mountain, but we're in a sort of alpine pasture. It says the treatment of the majority, which could be me, and I think they do exorcisms here too. Now, it's a tradition here to buy a water container and to go down and to get a little bit of Nile water and to be blessed. Is this the church down there?
That's possible.
Yeah, and when I go, I take my can.
Yes. If you wanted to fetch a holy water from the church,
Yeah.
I can help you and bring it. If you want that.
Well, I do want that. Will you come with me? Thank you. My new friend introduces me to the priest, Father Biranu.
Great.
Hello, Father. He first came here because he had malaria and wanted to be cured by the waters.
እዚያውን ፈለገ ግዮን መጥተው የሚፈወሱት በሽታዎች በዓለም ያሉት በሙሉ ከጥቃቅን ከጉንፋን ጀምሮ ከጥቃቅን በሽታዎች እስከ ትልቁ እስከ ኤችአይቪ ወሪያ የቴ በሴደ ካካመጣ እጉሩ አይኑ የታጎረውን ያበራል ጎባጣዩ ጀርባውን የጎበጠው እንዲያለው ተቃንቶ እንዲሄድ እግሩ እዚህ የሰለለውን እግሩ ልምሻ ወይም ፖሊዮ ዱላ ለቆ ወይም ምርኳዙን ለቆ ተነስቶ የሚሄድበት ነገር ነው ያለ እዚህ ታላቅ ቦታ ነው። Father Biranu takes me down to the source. I'm told that here the Blue Nile bubbles up through a spring. You say up.
Ab.
World.
Manvas Kedus.
Amarallo. Then,
as well as giving a blessing, Father Biranu unexpectedly decides to baptize me.
ጸጋዩ ሲል ከተሩሽ ማይቂ በረከት ካንቺ ጋር ይሁን ኃይለ እግዚአብሔር አይለይሽ ያ የወልድ መንፈስ ቅዱስ በረከት በላይሽ ላይ መንፈስ እግዚአብሔር ይደርብሽ የተጠመቅ በመሆንሽ ወለተ ጻድቅ እንድትባይ ሰይመንሻል
Welete Tsarek means child of the righteous.
ስለተጠመቀች አንድ ዜልል በሉላት እስቲ
Well, that was absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
I would like Father to write my name, the child of the righteous. Will you write that for me in Amharic so I can translate it into English?
በአማርኛ ስሜን
Amasignalu, thank you. That's me. And actually I can use that in London for any sort of, if I'm arrested for any misdemeanors, I just flash them. Like fabulous yellow card. And I say, source the Nile, buddy. I'm through. On the journey back, over the water, we all rinse our hands, Kif and Will their heads in the holy water, which has been blessed for me, which I had decanted into a plastic 1.5 litre bottle. We all had to bless ourselves. Before leaving Ethiopia, I travel higher up into the Simien Mountains. I think this is the most extraordinary country I've ever been to. Nowhere gives any clue of what it's like. I've been to Eritrea before in the north, I've been to Sudan in the west, I've been to Kenya in the south, and I've sailed up and down the Red Sea, and none of them gives the faintest inkling of what happens here in Ethiopia. It is absolutely staggering. This is the engine room of the Nile. This is where the great flood is propelled from. It goes for miles and miles and miles. Next, I've got postcards from some fantastic beasts in Uganda, and also from Rwanda, the longest source of the River Nile. Now we're in Uganda. I've been on safari in Africa before, and I've camped out, and I've seen all kinds of fabulous animals, but on this trip I learnt more than ever before. And what's more, I came almost face to face with a shoebill. For the first time on my journey, I'm going to get a chance to watch the impressive animals that live in the Nile. My guide is Zimbabwean, Andy Alt.
This is a fantastic group of hippo down here. There must be at least 60, maybe 70, maybe even 80 of them.
Hippopotamus is ancient Greek for river horse. Until very recently, biologists thought they had evolved from the pig family. But now research indicates that their closest living relatives are whales and porpoises. How long can they stay underwater?
Usually 6 to 8 minutes is about a good average. If they're stressed or frightened of something, then they might stay under for up to 15. There's a calf.
Yes.
It's a tiny little calf. If you watch just now, you might see the ears come up and spin around.
It's just so incredibly exciting sitting here with them disappearing. You can't really tell where they're going to pop up, and suddenly this huge head the size of a small car arrives, ears going like that. The swamp provides a haven for animals, including Uganda's largest, rarest, and most extraordinary bird. I never thought we'd see one of these. It's a shoebill. You'll just have to believe me when I tell you this bird is as tall as my shoulder and lives for up to 50 years. That's extraordinary. It's literally like seeing a pterodactyl or something. Just phenomenal. Strange, almost animal face. Doesn't really look like a bird at all. Great soft grey head. They're very rare. Then we spot the creature that's eluded us all the way along the Nile. The beautiful, but quite dangerous, Nile crocodile. Andy?
Yeah.
Why has it got its mouth wide open?
Temperature regulation.
Temperature regulation.
You'll see them quite often, just particularly on a hot day. They'll be lying there with their mouth open to let the heat dissipate.
I'm following Tapan Rashid to see a rhino called Bella and her baby, which is not even 2 months old. I think I just saw her. Look. Look at the size of her. Oh, there's the baby. Here at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary, 50 rangers look after 6 adult rhinos and their 3 calves. Tapan and his team guard Bella and her calf Augusto round the clock. They're coming closer.
Go back! Go! Go back! Augusto, go back! Bella, go back! Go back! Please, cool down. Down. Down, please. Down. Down.
Don't think they're carrying guns to protect us. It's to protect the rhinos from poachers. You
But-
just calmed her down just then.
Yeah,
didn't you?
yes, she smelled me.
Yeah.
and she hear my voice,
Yes.
say, ah, you have to be cool.
Because their eyesight is not very good, is
No,
it?
no, they're shorted eyes. They don't see very far,
No.
but they are very, very active to smell and to hear things. You can see the ears ever like that's like antenna.
Listening and listening.
Yeah, listening to people.
Here she comes. La la la, just walking very smoothly away. Okay, Tapa.
Go back. Go slow, go back. Go back. Go. Go back. Cool down. Cool. Cool. Bella, cool.
The reason I'm so scared is that as a mother, Bella's job is to kill us if we get too close to her baby. It seems awfully cowardly, but I just sort of... I'm always anxious around big wild animals because they're unpredictable. Here comes
Go back.
Augusta again.
Go back. Go back. Go back.
Extremely disobedient and very big baby
Go.
with a mother who's...
Go back. Go.
It's the sweetest thing. He seems to be eating the mud now. Tapan just said nobody has ever seen that before. Bella wallowing like that. Nobody's seen that before. An immense rhino fart. Let's go. And finally we got to Rwanda to find the longest source of the Nile, as discovered by Cam Maclay and two of his New Zealand colleagues. Cam is the most extraordinary man, unbelievably tough, smiling all the time, bright as a button, optimistic. From the edge of the Nyungwe forest, we get ready to walk the final 3 miles to the source. I'm just going to change this, what I've got in here, put on my boots. Actually, I wasn't going to show you this now, but I have to. And it's my little man in a boat. And I want to set him off on the Nile, on a journey back, the journey that I've done. There?
Shall we go?
Yeah. I'm following in your footsteps.
Excellent.
Oh, look, Cam.
Wow.
We're going up there.
We're going up there.
I'm keeping a fair bit behind you because I can see with your manly
Yeah.
slashings.
Yeah, give me a bit of space. And we still have our river flowing beautifully here.
Do you know, this is the first Nile water I've really drunk. Everybody said drink from the Nile. That's completely pure sweet water.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Wow. I've got to tell you about the last day of filming. We'd been told that you just had to walk through the jungle to find the source of the Nile. We're thinking, oh, this is going to look a bit tame. We can't think what it's like. Maybe it's a little path. Maybe we walk for 200 yards and go, oh, look, there's the source of the Nile. It could not have been more different. It was a primeval jungle. Everything had fallen down. It was swamps. We were crawled over by biting ants. I think it was soldier ants. This is just in case you think that we're all living in a 5-star hotel and strolling down and, you know, people putting something loose around, I think a cup of tea and everything. Not so! We were tough explorers. Crikey. Oh no! Oh no! Oops. Hang on, I've got my boot stuck.
Oh, you're back in there. You ready?
Hang on a second. I'm not quite in.
Oh, okay.
Can you sort
I'll
of...
assist anyway.
That's one of the saddest things you've ever had to do. Thanks, Cam.
Okay, we're getting very close now. So the longest source of the Nile is just up here.
How extraordinary this is. Look. Perceptible water. It's perceptible. Because I'm perceiving it. Hang on a second.
Got you on this end.
There we are.
Right.
My knee. So this is
Well
it?
done.
We've made it?
Okay. Okay. We've followed a false lead. I lost the water down there, so I was going to look for it again, but I think we may lose it completely just up here. So let's go back and we'll try up the other one. Look for our perceptible flow.
Three and a half hours later.
Well done. Lovely. Here we are.
Oh my gosh!
We can go no further.
Look at that. And look at the perceptible flow. It's like a little crocodile's nose. Just a little drip. To tell you the truth, I never thought we'd get here. My little guy and his little boat, because I wanted him to do the journey that we've done, but in reverse, the proper way, following the flow of the water, which starts here, a journey of 4,199 miles, the longest river in the world. I mean, I think rushing water is going to come here later, and I'm going to leave him here. I'm going to settle him here, so when the next rain falls, he'll start his journey. He's thinking, pensive, thinking of his long journey ahead. I think I'm just going to help him over the first bit. Into that bit. No, he says, don't push me. I'm thinking, okay, we're just a little bit there. You could almost feel he was floating. You could almost feel he was... You could almost... I think that I'm now stopping the source of the Nile by kneeling a bit. There we are. Oh, God, Cam, look what I've done to your river. I'm so sorry. So sorry. People across the world, since the programme's gone out, have said, how's your little guy in the boat? Do you think he got there? How far is he? Do you think he's reached Khartoum? Is he crossing Lake Nasser? Maybe he's sailing up the big Nile past the pyramids. And you go, guys, it was a little wooden boat this big. When I put him down, he was pretty much stuck in the mud. So the answer is, probably not, darlings. It's not really how it works.
Next, hilarious outtakes from film and TV featuring stars like David Beckham and gaffes from TV favourites like Coronation Street. It'll Be Alright on the Night. And the two new boys have landed and already they're causing a stir over on ITV2 next. Brand new Love Island continues.